It'd help if I turned on my mic. Welcome to our 6 p.m. Live stream. This is the last one for today. And today, what is today? Today is our day of giving. 10:20 is our day where we get to toot our own horn, toot toot, and also share about our stories and also highlight some of the amazing programs and work of our funded partners. And then also ask for your help in partnering with us in all of these incredible programs and giving you the opportunity to give back to your community and see real change right here at home. So welcome. I'm going to bring up our leaderboard. Oh my goodness, we are past that halfway mark. We are at $6,000. $6,020. I'm not going to disregard any dollar that we have. So 6,020. Andrea, thank you so much. I know I've already thanked Ron and Alice and Zoe, little Zoe, our little activist, Rebecca Stender, Ginny. Thank you guys so much for your contributions. We really could not do this work without you. And we have about half the time remaining. Our Day of Giving is a 24-hour virtual fundraising event that starts at 8 a.m. on the 20th and ends at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So we still have some time to give. So if you are tuning in, please let your friends know what's happening. Spread the word. We still have time to hit that $10,000 goal post that at the end of the field that we're running down right now. So we are really would love if you're hearing stuff that's inspiring you, that you would share this out. Hey, take a moment right now, share the live stream to your Facebook feed, let folks know that we're here so they can join us and learn about the work that we're doing. So we want to thank everyone that has given so far. As I said, Carol, Amanda, Jeffrey, A&B Children's Theater. Oh man, they were on this morning during our 8 a.m. live stream, and they did a whole fundraising effort with everyone on staff, and everyone gave to one of the funded partners. So that was a funded partner doing a day of giving to give to other funded partners, and that's what we're all about here, folks. We're about collaborating. We're about supporting each other. If you were in the last live stream, there's a pun or a metaphor about all ships, the tide coming in. When the tide comes in, all ships rise. I think I got it that time, Adrienne. So yes, I got it. But thank you all for joining us. And I'm going to be introducing you all to our incredible new community impact director in just a moment. But I did want to mention that today at 6 p.m., this live stream, we are doing one more matching gift. So Wise Markets will be doing a dollar for dollar match. So if you give during this live stream, your dollar, your impact will be matched dollar for dollar. So doubling your impact. So give now, help us get that $500 in this live stream. That's really our goal. So as I said, it's a great time to give. And if you've been waiting, now is the time. Now is the time to get on there, and you can allocate to one of the funded partners that you've seen, but we have a whole list. I'll be sure to include that in our chat. Let me just throw that in there right now. You can view all of the funded partners. We are a 5-county region across Columbia, Montour, Snyder, Union, and Northumberland. And we have 57 funded partners, all doing incredible work in our region. So you can allocate to a funded partner, or you can allocate to one of the impact areas that we've been talking about today. So we work in the area of health, education, and financial stability, which Christine is going to share more about. So I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'll let her kind of introduce that all to you. But as I share that, I'm going to actually bring Christine in now.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for letting me join in on the fun.
Absolutely. We're so thrilled for you to be here.
Thank you. I've been watching all day. You're doing an awesome job hosting.
Oh, thanks. I finally had my first coffee before the 4 p.m. session, and I was like, I haven't had coffee. And so I'm glad that I had that little pick me up, but I probably won't be going to bed tonight. So, but thank you for tuning in. So what have your thoughts been so far of the day?
Amazing. Just blown away by the amount of support and people coming out and leading and sharing our messages. It's wonderful.
Wonderful. Well, I know that having you on staff, you've been here for all of, a minute. So this is our chance to really introduce you to the community as our new Director of Community Impact. We're so thrilled to be having you here. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell a little bit more about the role that you are doing at the United Way?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I'll start off by saying I am brand new. This is my second week in the job, but the community impact work is not new at all to the United Way. I'm a lifelong resident of the region, and thank you, Adrienne. That's so nice. I have done community-based work throughout my entire career. So joining this team at the United Way has been a very exciting next step for me, and I am just honored to be here.
Well, we are thrilled to have you here. And so how did you come to work at the United Way? Like what led you to our organization?
Well, I have been very fortunate throughout my career. And at a young age, I had a work study job at a local chamber of commerce in high school. And that is really where I learned about the important roles that nonprofits play in making up a strong community. And that is also right where I learned about my local United Way at the time. So as I progressed throughout my college years, I joined up with the Community Giving Foundation, spent many years working there. Again, alongside the United Way and really just supporting other nonprofits across the region. As I progressed throughout my career, like I said, this is just a wonderful next step for me to be involved in making that hands-on change. And I have just always admired what the United Way does as being that large convener of other organizations for impact. So that's really how I got here.
Well, that's wonderful. And Angela is saying, welcome, Christine. So great to have you on board. And I agree. We were very lucky to have you. I've worked with you in other capacities for years leading up to us being on the same, United Way team. So I'm really thrilled to be working with you in this level. I'd love for you to really kick things off for this live stream and talking about like what we're using this word community impact, but that's kind of vague. Like what does community impact mean for folks who are tuning in?
Exactly. So community impact is a broad term. When you hear that, it is hard to pinpoint exactly what we're talking about. And you heard so many examples today of really specific things that are going on. Community impact is first and foremost made possible through our funded partner agencies, those 57 nonprofits who have missions that are critical to our strong region, and they directly align with our priority impact areas, the health and wellness, the education and mentorship, financial stability, and emergency needs. And then finally, diversity, equity, inclusion. Each of these agencies is doing important work in those areas, and that is why they are our partner agencies. And then the next piece when we're thinking about community impact is knowing that the needs of our region are often complex and they're evolving. And so the United Way has embraced what is known as a community impact model. And I think there a slide available that kind of illustrates that as I'm talking?
Yep.
Okay, the community impact model is giving that systematic approach to how we can actually identify the root causes of needs and make changes. We know that collaboration is very difficult, it's time consuming, and it's can be frustrating to navigate for organizations who are already maxed out in their capacity and their kind of specialty. So United Way plays that role where we are always listening. We're keeping in tune with what those community needs are. And then we're bringing the experts and partners together for a conversation. We make sure that each person, each organization is represented equally and fairly. And then we can really tackle these issues together. This is much different than just giving money to one agency for an issue or giving small amounts of money to several organizations for a specific issue and expecting to see real strides. By coming together, we're able to make a larger impact, and the United Way has this unique vantage point where we can really see what's going on and look at it objectively, as we're not tied to any one specific agency. As we've grown over time, that the 5-county region has also become a real competitive advantage for the United Way, because when we see something that's going well in one community, we can more quickly replicate it in another community. So that 5-county region is really paying off for us and making things more efficient. And so that is all benefits that come naturally with this community impact lens.
Wonderful. So now that we understand a little bit more about what community impact is, I would love for you to talk or share with us, and what are we doing to tackle that? Like, how do we tackle the community impact or the community needs across the region?
Okay, so it's kind of twofold. I would say first, it is that when we receive these donations from generous people like those of you tuned in today, we pass those along directly to the agencies. And through that process, there is also a very important vetting process that happens. There's a rigorous application process, and we have our allocations team takes a lot of time to look through programs and make sure that they're well administered, that they have been proven to be successful. And all those checks and balances are in place to ensure that the funds that we receive are then properly used, and most importantly, making the biggest impact. So this happens both through an application process as well as the follow-up and reporting and checking in with the agencies to make sure that things are going well. And then the second piece of how we tackle it is really just, you can't undermine the generosity of the donors. Without their support, really none of this would be happening. And so donors are able to see immediate results by making a donation. The impact is happening within the next calendar year. And they can also align their donation with those personal interests. And you mentioned that earlier. So that makes the donor feel that they're having an impact on things that they care about most. So that is how the twofold, how we tackle it. And then donors who make their donations unrestricted or to the entire region, that then gives us that flexibility when we're using that community impact model and exercising where do we see the most need, where can we align these dollars. So very, very important piece that the donors are critical to how we tackle the needs.
Well, Christine, I'm not sure I've heard anyone articulate it as well as you just have. So for being Johnny on the spot and so new to this role, I couldn't have said it better. So I just think it really speaks to your understanding of this work and why you are in the role that you are. It just, like, I think we had conversation that it just felt like a very natural progression of all the work that you've done. And one of the things that you shared with me is the wonderfulness of the immediacy of, like, that because we're able, and because of this community model that we're working under, we have the ability to pivot. So as the community needs arise, we're able to pivot and really address those needs. So is there anything else you want to share about that?
I would just say there are so many really excellent examples that were talked about today, from the revolving car loan to the makerspace work that my predecessor had a huge role in getting that going. I'm really excited to see how I can be a part of that story going forward. I'm so excited that I have relationships already with so many of the nonprofits who I just admire their passion. A lot of times I've described myself as just really lucky to be that messenger between the donors and the nonprofits who are really out there doing amazing things and thinking creatively about what's going on. So I'm just excited to see more of those success stories come about as we all work together.
Absolutely. And Stacy, if you're out there watching, we love and miss you, and we can't wait to work with you in your new role. So she, as you said, laid an incredible groundwork. I know she left you very thorough notes. So.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I owe her a lot, and I have big shoes to fill.
Oh, well, she, I admired her note-taking skills, and she always was such a beautiful energy to have around. But I love knowing that it's funny how in this sector that we just kind of circle each other and then come into new relationships with each other. So I know we'll be working with Stacey in the future, but we're so thrilled to have you. And yeah, I just, Sarah is on our team. Sarah was with us at the 8 a.m. live stream. She is also our new director of behavior and mental health. So she shared a lot about what she's working on this morning. And, as she said, I'll kind of echo her sentiment of, and what you had shared, which is that our community's issues are complex, but we have incredible people working and advocating and coming together to really find local solutions that are going to change lives. So it's just very thrilling to be a part of that process and to be able to, as you said, share our story. Mm-hmm. Angela, thank you. Yes, we are very excited about Christine coming on and joining the team. Thank you for the shout out. I also would love to hear, in your words, Christine, on a more personal level, what motivates you or what has driven you to this work in particular?
Well, I would say first, it's being able to see real difference being made. I want to say it is so fulfilling, and it becomes kind of addicting in a really good way that you see something good happen and you just want to get involved more. And then secondly, it is understanding how awesome our region is, and the small town culture that we have across our region is such a strength. I've worked in so many different communities, and in every one I found, I would say that we all have our pride for our little local community, but we also, we are deeply rooted and not afraid to help neighbors in need. And so that has been something that is really motivating and humbling. Like I said, it's happened in every community throughout this 5-county region that I have worked. I've seen firsthand. And it just continues to humble me and makes me feel like, you know what, that is worth the hours that you might sit behind a desk. When you get out there and you see what's actually going on and you see the passion of people wanting to help, that's what really motivates me.
Oh, I love that. And like you said, boots on the ground, opportunities like this, like our Day of Giving, to share what's happening behind the scenes, what people don't know. And plus, maybe they're not aware. Maybe they're not aware of the revolving car loan. Maybe they're not aware of our VITA, our volunteer income tax program, where you can go and get your taxes done for free. Don't go to H&R Block. No, that's H&R Block. I'm sorry. But you don't have to pay to get your taxes done, because we have a program that will do it for free. And my gosh, Christy and her team, they're amazing and they're so fun. Never had a fun time doing my taxes, except for when I'm with them laughing and giggling over tax returns. And they make what sometimes can be a hard pill to swallow, just, okay, we're doing it, and put a positive spin on it. So, but Sarah is watching and sharing. Yep. So, we're all in this together and a part of this community, and we're all really thrilled to be here and welcoming you to the team. So,
thank you so much.
Yes, we do have a lot to celebrate, Angela. And I want to also, as we are moving through, if anyone had any questions about what Christine shared about community impact and how that works, or how to get involved, or what does that look like, today, please drop your questions into the comments. This is the time to ask those questions. We're here. We're ready to answer. We're excited to answer your questions. So please feel free to add any of your thoughts into the comment section below. So I will also, it's kind of, it's a bit of a reframing of the, motivation, passion. Are they the same things? Maybe they're not, but where would you say your passion comes from, Christine? Because we talked about this in our 4 p.m. segment with Steph Rittmeyer, our Senior Director of Education, Reitmeyer. She, they just have oodles of energy. Sometimes the amount of energy that you need to do this work, it can be daunting. So, we shared about passion being a key part of how we can keep going and doing and fighting the good fight. So where does your passion for this work come from?
I think it is probably similar to so many people that we've already heard from today, or that are out there, where when you do find yourself doing community-based work, it is so fulfilling that it's really hard, I think, to be fully satisfied by any other type of work. It's beyond any dollar amount that you could make or other fancy, benefit or item that you could own. Knowing that at the end of the day, your work is really making a difference in the world is just so fulfilling. And so I've never been able to leave that field.
Once it hooks you good.
Yeah.
I did some nonprofit work. Started my career as a theater person. Was really drawn to the nonprofit arena, and I started off in New York working in the nonprofit sector. Really laid the groundwork for some of my future projects. It's just so funny how everything culminates. And then I spent some time in the hedge fund area and learned a lot there, but nonprofit has always had my heart. And when I had the opportunity to get involved, and especially with the United Way, especially with how we're looking at community need and really identifying things like the ALICE population. I know Alice. I know people who fit that profile. And if you weren't here for that over our lunch and learn, we really talked a lot about who is Alice. So I encourage folks to go back and watch that live stream, because you can. They're on our website, and they'll be on all the socials. So working with this population and affecting real change at a local level, I think is really where our saving grace lies as a society. So
the Alice video is so compelling. And I think the thing that is most important to remember as you watch that progression of her story is that, oh, by the way, she's serving a vital role in a job doing, early childhood education and childcare is so valuable. And so we need her in that position.
Absolutely.
And there's so many people like that. That is really, a big ode to the financial sustainability issue.
Yes, absolutely. So, as I said, if you have questions for Christine, please put them in the chat. We also have our website. You can always visit there and reach out to Christine directly. If anything has inspired you or you want to get some more clarification, you can reach out to any of us really on our staff page. So, Christine, is there anything else that you would like to share before we move on to our next segment? We're really excited about the next one.
Yes, I'm excited as well. Do you want me to say what I'm united in purpose for?
Yes, you.
I don't want to be left out. So I am united in purpose for strengthening and supporting all of our nonprofit organizations across the region.
Oh, I love that. Well, Christine, welcome to the team. We're so excited. Actually, I'm going to do a little thing that I haven't had a chance to do yet. Welcome!
Thank you. Hopefully we will make our match this hour.
Oh my gosh, yes. Speaking of, while I have you here, why don't we just go take a look-see? I'm like, where is it? Oh. Let's check on that leaderboard, see how we're doing. Okay, we are, let me get back. Where'd it go? Sometimes there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. So we are pushing. There's more guests than there were at the start. So folks, help us hit that 500. We're so close, dollar for dollar. We're almost there. And, keep giving through the night. If you run into, over the dinner table, you're meeting up with a friend, share this out, let folks know you can give until 8 a.m. tomorrow. So keep this going strong. We're so close. I love watching that thermometer climb up throughout the day. So we're almost there, and we can't wait to hit that goal and put more funds towards our campaign and, see real change in the community and continue the good work that we're doing. So thank you, Christine, for joining us. And we look forward to what's to come.
Thank you.
Well, that was Christine Orlando. She is our new Director of Community Impact. We are so fortunate to have her. I can't get over how quickly she's just like, like in it and gets it and understands it. It's a very exciting time for us, and we are thrilled to be sharing all of this during our Day of Giving. So once again, as you know, we are pushing towards that $500 goal. We started at $620, and dollar for dollar, if we hit that $500 mark. So we're going to be looking for it to hit that $6,520. We're so close. If we hit that during this live stream, Wise will match your gift dollar for dollar. So let's double that impact. Let's get that matching gift. Let's inspire folks to really bring it home. I'm so excited. Come on, guys, we're almost there. This is like one of those moments. So once again, you can click on the link in your chat. That's donate now, make a difference. It's coming through now. So if you have yet to give, this is the time. And yeah, we're going to be moving into our next part of the segment. This is a very exciting piece because we did share about this at our last Day of Giving. So we have a crew here. So welcome to the team. Welcome everyone. I'm going to get us into a better position here. There we go. This is what, Rebecca, I'm going to just throw it over to you. You kick things off. You get us going. I'm going to make sure everyone can talk. So welcome. Why don't you lead us off?
Okay. Thanks, Danielle. I'm Rebecca. This is our crew. We are the Community Mapping Project. And for those of you who haven't heard anything about it yet, I've heard already some talk about data and stories and how the United Way is trying to get data and stories and bring them together and think about and with the community to figure out what needs to happen. And the Community Mapping Project is a way to make that happen. So we are we're a big team of facilitators and leaders, and together we make plans and enact what are called story circles, which are a way to bring people together and share their stories with each other, sometimes around shared geographies, identities, issues, questions, and sometimes around nothing at all except the fact that we all live here. And yeah, I think I'll pass to Adrian to see if you want to do any more framing of how the United Way thinks about the project.
No, and this is like one of my favorite days of the year because I do a lot of talking about all of this, and it doesn't mean anything because it's really the people who are doing the work that, are the exciting people. So my name's Adrian. I like to say like I'm behind the scenes managing United Way, but my job is to bring amazing people to the table. So Rebecca, you said it all. And Joanne, can I pass it to you for an introduction?
Sure. My name is Joanne Henry. I live in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and I've been involved with United Way's Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for several years now. I was organized into the group by Susan Jordan. And I'm a member of the team of facilitators for Story Circles.
And Nick?
Hi, I'm Nick Ide. I live over in New Berlin. Similar to Joanne, I became familiar with the United Way's Community Mapping Project from my participation on the Diversity and Equity Council. Haven't been on it as long as Joanne, but it's been, I think, creeping up on 2 years, facilitating story circles and helping organize with Rebecca and Joanne and the rest of the team.
And both of you really jumped in with both feet. I have to say that, Joanne, you've been kind of a constant support of this work for a long time. But Nick, you were like, yes, I am going to be a part of this and I am going to show up, which is, it doesn't always happen. So we've got true volunteers here on this live stream, and it's just so exciting.
I had a thought about something that might be fun for us to talk about, which is what do you love or what's important to you about story circles, or why do you think they're important?
Nick, you want to go?
Yeah, I would love to actually. Piggybacking off of what Adrian just said, I kind of, maybe selfish is the wrong word, But I approached the United Way first in my like personal professional capacity, and I've stuck around just because I believe in it so much. I experienced one story circle and I was hooked. I said, I have to volunteer, I have to participate. And now I do without my own work cap on. I just come as Nick, a Valley resident. That sense of belonging and that community that those foster was so important for me to experience that I want to make sure every one of my neighbors experiences it as well.
I feel like my smile is going to like leave me like actually hurting tomorrow. I think that one of the greatest privileges of this work is when we hear people say like we found our place in the community doing this volunteer thing. I think that you know, we talk a lot about the fact that people are hurting, and one of the best ways to, you know, to maybe bring some relief to that is finding community and finding connection. And I mean, that's what I see here, and it's so exciting. So Joanne, I don't want to take your time talking about story circles. Do you have anything you particularly love?
I have a little bit of a history with story circles. I was trained in them by John O'Neill, who was one of the founders of the Free Southern Theater, that out of which these arose in the 60s in the South when they were doing work around the civil rights movement. So I'm not quite that old, but I'm old enough to have known John and to be trained by John O'Neill. And so I come from a background of theater, of being a professor, and also being a person involved in social change organizations. I believe in the power of the stories. They are not hierarchical, and they're designed to democratize the whole event. And I believe in them because I've seen what happens in them. I've seen what happens to myself, and I've seen what happens with other people. I've seen people making connections that they may not have ever thought they would make with people who are really different from them. I've seen people one of the things that story circles do is that they create an opportunity to have a space in which you can actually tell your story and people will actually listen. Because, you know, we might ask somebody, how you doing today? But then we keep it moving, don't we? We don't really stay to ask, to listen to that story. So I appreciate the story circles because of that, because they're powerful. And the last thing I'll say about why I'm involved in it is because I'm dedicated and have been since I was a teenager to individual transformation and communal transformation. And I see how the story circles can promote both of those things. They create a container for both of those things to happen in. Nick.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I love also is that it's so deeply human to be with each other in the way that the story circle sets up. And I think for me, there's so much that distracts us from the ways that we can be together as humans. You know, there's like technology, there's tensions about what, you know, like this political thing or that political thing or this local political thing or that, you know, like that cause all this vibration. And what you can do with a story circle is like settle back to that place where we say, I'm a person and you're a person. And that means we have almost everything in common. And so now we can share our similarities and our differences and be together in kind of the way that we're meant to be together, which is like understanding that we each come from a place built of stories that we don't know about each other, and like kind of welcoming each other with curiosity and showing ourselves with vulnerability so that we end up with an understanding so that we can be together, like so that we can move forward together, right? Because if you're doing this, you're not moving forward. But if you're like, oh yeah, okay, I see you, then you can move forward instead of going like this. So we're going like this together instead of like this. And I love that. I love that it makes the space for that, and it holds the space for everyone to be able to participate, no matter what other stuff, you know. Yeah, I love it.
So we've been doing them across many different places. Like we've done one at Susquehanna University. We're doing a series of them at Bloomsburg University. And we will be delving into the health systems of our area and promulgating the story circles. So I just see it expanding and expanding and expanding to gain not only data, but data that has heart and soul in it, that rounds out numbers, humanizes it, and gives it a, I guess I would call it, it's more homemaking, it's whole making. So I think the work is really important. I can't say enough about it.
So for the team, I know that our social work practicum student, Contavia, has been helping with the Bloomsburg University Story Circles. And one thing she's talked to me a lot about is recruiting and actually getting people there, which I know, Rebecca, I've heard you say is sometimes the hardest part. And what I've noticed is that now people's time is valuable. People are very busy. People need a lot of information before they can come to something. So we want everybody to come and experience a story circle. So you sign up for a story circle. What actually happens? Give the details so people know what they're getting themselves into.
Oh, nice. Nick, do you want to take that since you actually went through that experience?
Sure. It's a great question. And I think that's probably that was the most pressing thing on my mind when I first entered one was, what am I getting into? So essentially we try to gather a group of people. They can share something in common, or it can literally just be that they all live in this 5-county region, or maybe are visiting this region. It doesn't really matter. But we gather them, and there's a structure to it. We have a specific flow. We review that everything that's shared in a circle is going to remain anonymous. We do record the stories being shared, but it's anonymized, it's digitized, it's transcribed, so no information can be tied back to you. It's never shared publicly. Your name will be removed. And if you're not comfortable doing that, that's okay. You're given the space and opportunity to share authentically when you want to and you're comfortable to. We start off by doing a little icebreaker, breaking the ice, making people uncomfortable is the best way to really open up and share that authentic experience. That was probably the most unnerving part for me. I'm not always, jumping into things like that. But when I say it broke down that barrier and enabled me to share something that maybe I wouldn't have immediately, it did so well. So that's kind of the intention of it, even though it is uncomfortable. So once we move like that, we do predetermined prompts, we call them. Rebecca, Joanne, myself, Susan, anybody on the facilitator team will kind of create and curate these prompts to, search for something that maybe we want to see answered within the community. They're very broad for a reason, to allow people to share whatever they want in response. One of the most notable, I guess, that we do is tell us a story about a time you felt a sense of belonging. And I think that really hones into the purpose of the story circles, is to foster that kind of belonging within our community. So it's always striking to me. It doesn't matter how many kind of demographics, different people, ages, genders, anything, sitting in a circle, when you start to answer questions like that, the similarities are undeniable. And I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. So we go through a few of those, and then we end with a song, oftentimes led by Joanne, because I can't carry a tune. But it's amazing. It's another great way to bring everybody together. And then, we go about it. And I'm sure I missed stuff. So Joanne, Rebecca, please feel free to pick up where I might have missed.
Well, you didn't go amiss, but I will say that most of the time when we do an icebreaker, they're from, they've been very influenced by theater games, which you might know something about, or other kinds of like movement games. So they do take people a little bit out of their comfort zone, but then also it invites people to get a new comfort zone. So that's kind of cool too.
I like that idea of a new comfort zone.
Yeah.
I was so busy listening, I forgot to prompt my next question in my brain. So we have got a couple of exciting things happening around story circles. And I did want to mention that, Rebecca joined us as a staff member for a year and really got this. Well, I will say, because clearly this has been going on in communities for a long time, brought the idea of story circles to us. She also, in her time at United Way, worked on a community survey where we were able to glean a lot of information, and set up an incident report as well so that community members could share some of the things that are happening in the community. And all of that was possible because of the support of local individuals and businesses right here in the 5 counties. It was actually not grant supported. It was community member led and funded, which was really powerful and allowed us to get started. We talk a lot about sustainability when we're talking about grants and how we make things happen. And I think that this is such a great example of how sustainability doesn't always mean funding a position forever. I think that Rebecca's time with us was really beautiful. I don't know that Rebecca wanted to spend any more time with us than that year of launching this project. But now Rebecca, of course, is clearly, even a year later, still with us. But we have a tremendous leadership team of people, volunteers in the community who are constantly giving their time. I know they get together, I'm sure at least weekly, but I know we're in constant communication. And this project has moved beyond United Way to a true community project, really with volunteer support. And still the information is coming back to United Way. We have been able to continue some grant funding of this project. And actually, I'll say thank you to First Community Foundation Partnership, who has now funded this project 2 years in a row, which is incredible. The first year to help really launch the story circles and make sure that the individuals who are participating when they're doing story circles are getting, I don't really know that it's payment, but it's compensation for their time, because I think that we all know that volunteers, while we appreciate those that are able to give their time, oftentimes people, and we've talked a lot about Alice today. We've talked a lot about how, with expenses, with, this, that, and the other, we want to make sure to compensate the people that are working with us. And Rebecca has helped me really reframe that a lot. And I appreciate that. So we've been able to really launch that. And the second year of funding is going to help us put together a beautiful website to really be able to share all of the information that's collected. So if anyone's thinking, well, this is all great, but what's the next step? And Rebecca, I want to turn it over to you for any more thoughts around this, but the next step is really sharing it out with the community while continuing to collect and be grateful to the people that are taking their time to gather the information and share it.
Well, and there are also organic next steps that happen within communities, right? So part of what I love about what we're doing is that we're not sort of gathering information and then sitting with a bunch of experts and saying, okay, now this is what's going to happen. We're like doing stuff in our communities together, and then new things happen. So one of the examples I think of that's already sort of taking shape is the Lewisburg High School did a female and non-binary empowerment night, and they asked the, I think it was the mediation center, and Susan was like, we should do story circles. So we did some story circles with the young people, and what came out of that was, we need to do this for the boys and non-binary folks in school too, because it was really amazing. And the young people got to connect and tell their stories and share things. And it did exactly what it was supposed to, which was empower them, get them better connected, so and one of the things that it also showed is how adaptable the story circle form is, right? So I think that evening there were like 4 or 5 separate, much shorter circles. It's like it can go anywhere and do anything and sort of move into different spaces. And so out of that experience, already they're now planning another evening that's going to include the rest of the students from the school to get to do that, because they didn't get, and it makes sense that, like that's another point where sometimes it makes sense to do things all together. Sometimes it makes sense to split up and do things separately, depending on how things are going at what moment. But one of the things that I love is like, somebody said, hey, can you come do something? We said, we can come do story circles. And everybody went, oh, can we do more? And then that's what happened. And in each of those things also, stuff comes out about what issues in the school that then people can sort of say, oh, we didn't, and address them directly within their own sort of structure and networks that are already there, or all sorts of stuff like that happens. And each of the facilitators that's on the leadership team has such incredible lives and skill bases and stuff going on, that like the expertise that each person on the leadership team brings also sort of pushes out into the community. One of the people who couldn't be on tonight, but is Marcellus Hammond, and he's a muralist. And so he does story circles in combination with making murals. And so that's a way that sort of the stories from the circles move through art into the community and are sort of literally the human stories that come out in the circles are painted on the walls of the community. So there's all these ways that the stories sort of move into our shared space, not just, and things happen, like people meet new people at the story circle, and then they're like, oh, hey, we should go do this, we should organize this, or we should move this project forward, and then stay connected to the sort of network that the story circles build. So there's official things, like there'll be an official really awesome website, which I love, but there's also the things that grow naturally out of the process, which I think is one of the things that makes it really special and different than a lot of what happens, is that it really is about building with and in our communities, as our communities, what we need, and it creates a platform to make that happen. Another thing that is really useful that we forgot to say is that we always bring snacks, and snacks can get expensive if you do a lot of circles. So we do need funding for that as well. It's always, you know, when people are busy and like, when you say, oh, there's going to be hot cider and cider donuts and maybe some cookies, maybe, you know, then it's like, oh yeah, I want to come in from the cold and be with other people and have some warmth, and like human warmth and snack warmth. Yeah.
It's always important to provide the welcome table, isn't it?
Yes.
I need a welcome table right now. I'm looking around my office and the apple is eaten. The coffee is gone. That sounds so good. I want hot cider right now.
I know. I was like, "Ooh, that sounds really good."
I know.
And I was also thinking about Olivia's comment, like, I love snacks too. Like, it really does create a there. It creates a moment of, you know, of sharing food and communing around a table and communing with each other. You know, there's something, you know, Joanne, I don't know, but I'm kind of fangirling over here, but I have a background in theater as well. So I feel like the idea of communion and coming together and the ritual of eating and sharing a meal together is in of itself an act of breaking down barriers and establishing connection. So I've always been so struck in films and art when the person is just simply eating food, and it's a beautiful, simple act of nourishment, of coming together, of wellness, of wholeness. And, you know, kind of tying it back, you know, it's a basic human need. And it's one of the ones that we have seen as a true need in our community. And it all just ties together. So, you know, I love snacks.
Well, and I think, like storytelling, eating is one of the basic things that brings people together. And I want to tell us, I can't remember where I heard this, but it was about the power of storytelling in like human survival. And it was like, so think about, you're small bands of people anywhere in the world, and there's game animals, and you come upon them, but you're too small to handle what has to happen, right? But if you find another group of people and tell the story of what you saw, then together you can go procure the food that you need to survive, right? Like, it's all sort of the way that storytelling and eating together have built our interwovenness as humans goes so deep into the like beginning times of humanity. It's amazing to then continue that tradition in these moments and see how powerful it still is, like just on the thread of our shared humanity all the way. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anything?
Danielle, I wasn't sure if you were gonna go or if I should go, so I was like pausing for you.
We're doing one of those like moments where you just like, we're just gonna sit in that for a moment and just let it be. And you know, I the pauses in life and not needing to fill this space after, you know, it's been a long day. I'm ready. I'm seriously want a cider donut, and I was just like, we could have a pregnant pause for a moment today, so and not have to fill the bandwidth with sound. But that's the thing. I always feel like whenever I enter one of these conversations with the leadership team, it's like I do feel my brakes kind of slowing down, and I do feel like we hit that pause to just be present with each other. And I think that's also the power of the story circles, is just breath and sit and stillness and looking at each other, just like seeing each other across, you know, just face to face. So,
Yeah. So seeing the time, I am wondering if the leadership team that has joined us could just maybe share one more thing. You know, we've got a great community of people following tonight, and this will continue to play. So what is one thing we haven't talked about yet that you would love if the greater community knew about the work in general that you're doing? I'll leave it there.
I have a thought. I don't if one of y'all wants to go, but I have a thought. So one of the things that I would love for everyone to know is that it's really, really easy it's really, really hard and really, really easy to bring a story circle together. So if you have 3 people who live on your block who you could get together, you can reach out to us and say, hey, I have a story circle with me and 3 other people. Will you come facilitate it? And we will say, yes. Let us look at our calendar and figure it out because we are quite busy, but yes. So one of the things that I love is that we invite everybody to, we have facilitator trainings. It's been sort of quarterly. So people who participate in story circles are like, I want to do this. And we say, great. Well, you know, when we have 3 to 5 people who have said that, then we set up a new training and train a new set of facilitators, and then sort of support them in whatever they need to transition into being, you know, to sort of making their way onto the leadership team or being active facilitators. And it's interesting. One of the things, Adrienne, I think you mentioned this before, is that sometimes it's really easy to bring 3 to 5 people together, and sometimes it's really hard. And one of the things that I love about when people get excited about story circles is that they get to figure it out in their community. Like if they say, oh, I want to do this, and they think it's going to be really easy and then it's hard, or they think it's going to be really hard and then it's easy. They even just saying, I want to bring a story circle together. I'm a community member and I want to bring a story circle together. That's people on my block, or that's people who share this identity, or that's whatever it is. It gives each person the opportunity to reach out to the people they want in the circle and just build those relationships a little deeper. And it might, you know, in some cases it takes like 6 months, you know, like somebody has a vision for the circle they want because they're like, I know these people and their stories are amazing. And it takes that time to sort of be in relationship with each other until you all can get to be in the same room. And I encourage everybody listening to tell everybody you know to just think about, if I were going to have a story circle, who would I want to invite? And how can I start the process of making that happen? And you can reach out to the leadership team at any point and say, I'm trying to make this happen. Can you support me to do that? Or I got these people together. We just need a date. Let's talk about a date. And we would just love for literally every person. I mean, if every person in the 5-county region decided they were going to put a circle together, it would be amazing. Like it would change everything. Like, and it would deepen everybody's relationship with each other, with the people in our community. Like just, it's amazing. So I encourage everybody listening tonight, think about who you want to bring to a circle and start the process, reach out to those people, find out, you know, like, hey, can I get you to, and then get in touch with us. We'd love that.
And that they may help to build capacity in the community,
Mm-hmm.
but they do help build empathy in the community.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's the really deep work. And that's one of the reasons I'm involved.
Yes.
So if people wanted to reach out, I just wanted to clarify, would it be okay to say that they could reach out to our email address, the info@svuw.org, or what's the best way to reach out to start a story circle?
The info is the general United Way email.
Yeah.
That's great. And you can forward that to the leadership team. That works great. We also have a Facebook page that people who want to participate or have participated in can find. It's Susquehanna Valley Story Circles.
Yes.
Right? Got that
Yep.
right? Okay. So you can also search that up. I'm not sure if it's right now for people who have participated, but if you put in, I think you get to write a note about why you want to join. And if you say, I heard about it on the live stream and I want to get involved, we'll be like, yes, you're in the party. Join the party.
Definitely.
I'm currently trying to find that on the Facebook to share in the chat, but in the meantime, I will definitely go ahead and send the email address through there, and then I'm keep coming up on the awesome community story circles that were hosted at the Samek Art Museum and with Bucknell. So that's what keeps coming up right now.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm still trying to find the Facebook page. Wait, maybe Susquehanna Valley Story Circles.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really nice story circle prompt, like a Facebook stories prompt about fall right now. Like, hey, it's fall. If you want to put a story about fall in the comments, go ahead.
Found this, and I'm just going to share it. Still looking for the Facebook page. Watch me find it the second we get off of the live stream. But
I found it, but I don't know how to put it in the chat.
Oh, can you tell me what the handle is, or like what the last bit after Facebook is, and then I'll look for it that way.
That would be too hard for an old person like myself.
Oh no, well, we all good. You know what? Throw it in the host chat, and then I'll put it in the
Okay.
If we can do that. If not, it's all good. We'll figure it out. We'll follow up on Facebook with the Facebook link on our page and share it out that way. We will find a way.
I think I just put it in the host chat.
So did I.
Okay.
Awesome. There we go. Oh, it's a group. Okay, that would be why I find it.
And I wanted to mention the one person who was not able to join us tonight, and the one organization who I know got brought up briefly is Susan Jordan, and the Susquehanna Valley Mediation Center. Mediation Center does incredible work on a lot of different fronts. Susan has been a leadership team member and a real. She leads our Diversity and Inclusion Impact Council, but a real supporter of this work, both through the Mediation Center and most definitely in her spare time, whatever that looks like these days. She was not able to join us tonight, but I know she's a dear friend to all on this live stream, and we, wish she was here with us tonight. And Nick, Joanne, I think that you shared what you wanted to about story circles, but Nick, I don't know that you got the chance. And Joanne, if you didn't get to finish a thought or you want to share anything else, we'd love to hear it.
Nick.
Cool. I guess the biggest takeaway is the possibilities are endless. It's limitless. You can have whoever you want. You can talk about whoever you want. You can do it with strangers. You can do it with loved ones. You can do it with your neighbors. You could do it with students. It could be a mix of all those things. And the most beautiful part about that is that when you're sitting in that story, you start to hear things that you thought you were the only person who ever experienced. So you look at these total strangers sometimes, or these people who maybe have never shared that piece of themselves with you, and you say, wow, I thought I was alone in that. And here you are in my own community. You have the same experience. It's incredibly humanizing. And like Joanne mentioned, it creates this sense of empathy that is so important when we go back out into our community. We're not in a story circle environment. We see people in a different lens and we say, wow, maybe they have a story that relates to me, or maybe they have a story that they need to share. And I think that's really important for all of us to do. And so I hope everyone in the live stream and everyone in the 5-county region gets the chance to participate in that.
Can I double the shout out to Susan Jordan?
We love Susan.
Because one of the conversations I love having with her, and we have it not infrequently, she's a real visionary in this work and has been just like, this wouldn't be what it is without her. In the particular way, that's true, I think, for each individual on the leadership team, but it is no less true for Susan, and she's a powerhouse visionary in this work. And one of the things that I love talking about with her is that she runs the Mediation Center, which is an amazing resource when there's a crisis or conflict, right? And so the Mediation Center can sort of hold the space to move through that conflict or crisis with integrity. And one of the things that has often, Susan says she gets a lot of asks that are like, how can we also build communities that have less conflict or that have the kind of supports that would prevent those conflicts and crises? And, collaborating with Susan on this and getting to do this together as a team, she's sort of like, this is kind of what I envision if the Mediation Center weren't so overtaxed doing what it's already doing that we could do. So it's so amazing to get to work together to do this thing that there's clearly a need for, with the sort of collaboration and integrity that Susan and the Mediation Center bring to the community work that we get to do, that's sort of just completely together and in concert, and is something that people have reached out to her saying, hey, can we do this? For a long time, from what she's told me. And it's just really great to get to do it together with her and with this whole team, which I think is just, it's the best.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining. It really was a treat. As I said, I really appreciated the chance to slow down and just be with you and learn about story circles and all of the the chaos that is our day of giving, the beautiful chaos, beautiful organized chaos. I love that we're ending on such a beautiful, humbling and a human note. So it's really, comes back to the work that we all are really striving for in this region. So just thank you to everyone who joined us tonight and for sharing your stories. We did get the Facebook group into the chat. So it is in the chat. Yay. And please feel free to connect with them there. I think that would be even more direct than sending an email. But if you prefer email, go ahead and email us at info@svuw.org, and we'll be sure to connect you with the leadership team. We really are excited about the evolution of this project and where it's headed next. And as we covered today, just the organic nature of it and what comes next, who knows? So we will end on that. But before I let you go, I would really love to hear each of you kind of share, like, what are you united in purpose for? Like, what is your passion? What drives you to do this work in our community?
I got it. You want me to start it off?
Go.
I am united in purpose for an equal and fair world.
I'm united in purpose for a revolution of the spirit of our community.
I'm united in purpose for humans getting to be together as their whole selves.
Love it.
This might be my favorite live stream. I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, I loved all of our live streams, don't get me wrong. But it's just such a really beautiful, poignant note to end on. So I really thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. I'm so thrilled that we were able to make this happen and get you guys here to share. So thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And, folks in the audience, go to that Facebook page. We worked hard to get it into that chat for you. So make sure you find it. And we'll also share it out on our Facebook So if you're not in a place where you can do that, it will be on the page. And I think too, Adrian will probably find a spot for it on the website as well. So both places you'll be able to connect with the team and start your own story circle with your hot cider and so creating it there. Well, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Adrian, I'll have you stay on with me for a moment before we say, toodaloos to our audience. Thanks,
Thank
Joanne.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to have you here while we gave the update about our matching gift. What's up? We did it! So we are so nearing that $7,000 mark, which only puts us so close to our $10,000 goal. We did end up getting that matching gift dollar for dollar. So, a big thank you again to Wise for being our matching gift sponsor for this segment, and also to Service First for getting things kicked off right with such a generous matching gift of $2,000. As we mentioned earlier, it was our biggest yet. And we just are so thrilled to be able to double the impact of everyone's gift and the dollars that we are putting into the community. Adrian, I'd love for you to kind of share about the dollar and how much goes into the community and the local aspect of it as we kind of say goodnight to folks before, we leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are extremely proud that 99% of your gift always stays right here in Columbia, Montour, Snyder Union, and Northumberland counties. We really are. I know that worldwide, United Way is worldwide, but we are right here and local. Additionally, we are extremely proud that our overall admin expense is 14%, which is well below a nonprofit standard. So that means that 86 cents on each of your dollars goes back into the community. But I'll mention that that 14% is additional programs that we're doing here for your local community, the time that I spend, the time that Danielle spends. So we always like to say that you're really getting your money's worth plus at United Way. So yeah, a lot of different ways to slice that topic. I think I could keep going, but we're proud of how we put your dollars to work at United Way through our funded partners, our projects, and our programs. And just want to say thank you to everyone that's joined us today through donating, through the clear volunteer work, the amazing people we have working for the community through our organization. And Danielle, thanks again for allowing the space to share through the whole day what we've got going on at United Way. No day makes me prouder. So thank you.
Yeah, I echoed your sentiment about having some smile fatigue by the end of the day. My mouth is a little sore, but it to encourage folks. This doesn't end here. This may be our last live stream, but the giving does take place all through the evening, all through till tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. This is a 24-hour fundraising event, so there's still time to share one of these live streams with someone who you think may benefit from it or may want to hear about the work that we're doing and inspire them to give. So as we get ready to end, we'll leave that donation link in the chat for you to share. And if you haven't made a donation and you've been joining us today, maybe now's the time. We do want to remind you that there is, for every donation made, we have a really cool incentive also offered by Wise, which is the supermarket sweep, the 2-minute race through the store and fill your basket, fill your cart. It's always so fun. So we're really excited to be able to offer that. So if you didn't get the matching gift, get yourself entered for the Wise sweepstakes. So my friend Sherry won it last year and she was like, this is amazing. So I'm going to have her talk about it because she was just blown away by that awesome gift. So I think they still have gas cards from it. So it's amazing. It was a lot, very generous. So thank you to Wise and Pepsi for sponsoring that sweepstakes for us. Adrian, before we head out, is there anything else we should share before we sign off on our live streams for this day of giving?
I think just another thank you to the community and my favorite, Live United. That's what we're doing here. We encourage you to do it with us and reach out if you want to get involved in what we have going on. All of the work that you've heard today has got committees that go along with it. So if you were inspired by what you heard, We appreciate the donation, but we appreciate the volunteer hours too. So we hope that you'll come and join us.
Well said. Well, thank you, everyone. We're really, oh, Doug, hello. Yes, thank you, Doug. Thanks for joining us. And thank you for your comment. What a great way to go out on. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And we really look forward to being able to let you know that we hit that goal tomorrow morning. So let's keep it going. We're so close. We're like 75% there, almost 75% there. So we can't wait to share the success. So help us get there, though, folks. Thank you so much. And thank you, Adrienne, for all your help today, for supporting this, for being our fearless leader, our hashtag girl boss. We love it. We love working with you. And have a good evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Danielle.